This is where you prove it. The Avalanche have arguably one of their most crucial games of the season to date later this evening, facing off in a back-to-back against the New Jersey Devils. And over the last few games, a few struggles have revealed themselves amongst this Colorado Avalanche team. So getting a dominant win at home and proving that you are still a legitimate contender in this league is going to be huge for the Avs tonight as they're set to face the New Jersey Devils this evening in Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. And we're giving you a full pregame breakdown, talking about some of the struggles going on with this team over the last few days, as well as discussing what the keys are going to be to hopefully getting a win tonight against the Devils. Welcome into Avalanche Digest, everybody. Happy to be here with you. My name is Mark Robinson, as usual. Welcome to the channel if you're brand new here. And on that note, if you are brand new to the channel or you've been watching our videos and you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the best possible source, the best possible location for Colorado Avalanche news and updates. We're giving you daily, short, digestible, quick updates on the Colorado Avalanche, only 8 to 10 minutes of your time every day. And what's even less than that 8 to 10 minutes is the 5 seconds that it takes to not be a part of that 78% people anymore. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you join the Avs Digest family. We're at about 1,360, 1,370 subscribers, somewhere in that range. Our goal is to get to 1,400 by the end of the month. Heck, maybe even 1,500. So please help us reach our ongoing, continued goal to grow this channel the best that we possibly can. Hit that subscribe button and join the best possible source for Colorado Avalanche news and updates. So, as I mentioned, big game for the Avs tonight. They face the New Jersey Devils in the second game of a back-to-back. Kind of interesting how the schedule panned out there. They play the Devils twice in one NHL season, and it happened to be back-to-back on Sunday. They played the Devils in New Jersey, lost in overtime, and they are back in Colorado facing the Devils in another game, 2 straight against New Jersey, and this one tonight at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 9 o'clock Eastern at Ball Arena in downtown Denver, Colorado, and it's a big one. Obviously a hot start for the Avs this season. They've ranked amongst the top of the league for the entirety of the year so far, and they've been doing really well in almost all facets of the game, but we've seen some of these other aspects and some of these other facets of their game start to drop off a little bit, and it's almost like we're starting to come back down to reality in terms of this, awesome, insane start. Hadn't lost in regulation in I think like 7 or 8 games. It was just a really good start, really good, first few games for the Avs, but some issues are really starting to reveal themselves, and they're on a little bit of a skid right now in which getting right and winning tonight is going to be huge for this team. So let's talk a little bit about some of these struggles in the last game against the New Jersey Devils. Val Nichushkin, MacKinnon, and Brock Nelson scored the 3 goals for the Avs after going down 2-0 to start the game. They dug themselves out of a 2-0 hole in the first period. We got the first goal from Big Val on the second line. Then MacKinnon equalized it up. And then a tough giveaway in the neutral zone gave the Devils the lead 3-2. And then in the third period, second line going to work again. Brock Nelson, our 2C, getting that third goal for the Avs, essentially solidifying that that first point, which is obviously huge. And we're going to talk a little bit about that narrative a little bit later in terms of how the Avs have been able to solidify a lot of these overtime clinches and solidify these 1-point games. But obviously, what I want to touch on is more so the fact that as exciting as it is that this team can dig themselves out of holes during regulation, the narrative of not being able to finish games in overtime is getting a little bit old already. But anyways, we'll get to that later. They looked like the better team during this game against the Devils, who, by the way, are buzzing right now. They're 8-0, they've won 8 straight games. They're not 8-0. They've won 8 straight games, and they are being dubbed as one of the best teams in the league right now, all across the media. And this was especially impressive given that this game started 19 hours after a matinee game against the Boston Bruins where the Avs lost. Unfortunately, they always tend to struggle in Boston. And once again, they looked like a pretty solid team. But with Boston having lost 6 straight, you have to consider the fact that they probably had a chip on their shoulder, wanted to get a win at home. That's exactly what they did. This is all according to Arf Dean from Colorado Hockey Now. It wasn't a weekend of bad hockey by any means. The Avs played 2 winnable games, but they lost both. And it's the same patterns that continue to hurt them. They can't score on the power play, and they can't win in overtime. A few quotes from the locker room after this New Jersey game that I think have major implications into what's going to happen in tonight's game. You've got head coach Jared Bednar saying, "We made some mistakes, but we played hard. We had a solid effort, got out of a 2-0 hole. Excuse me, that's supposed to say hole, not hold. They got out of a 2-0 hole in the beginning of the game. We had some chances to win the game, and I thought our guys gave us everything that they have. And that was Jared Bednar in the press box, in the locker room after the overtime loss to the New Jersey Devils. Leave it to Jared Bednar to obviously be able to see the positives in these kinds of things, but he does usually give it to you straight. And clearly he feels like this team fought, and he feels like this team was capable of, hopefully trying to get a win. And then I think he's confident that they can push that into the game that they have tonight. And then Brock Nelson, who scored the tying goal in the third period to essentially solidify that extra point. I think there's been games where we deserve better fate. Got to keep rolling it and find our rhythm. I think will be dangerous. So it seems like there's still a lot of confidence in this locker room. It seems like this team knows what they're capable of. And I've said this a lot of times when we're talking about how good the Avs are and how positive it is. I keep reminding everyone of this reality, and I'm going to do it right now when we're talking on a little bit more of the concerning side of the team. This is a very young NHL season. There's still a lot of games to be played. A lot can happen. A lot can unfold. And I think that only time will show that this team is capable of great things. But for the time being, we're going to talk about some of these concerns that need to be addressed for the Avs. So 0-4 past regulation this year. Every single time we've gone to overtime, whether we make it through the 5 minutes and get to a shootout or we lose in the overtime, we have not won a game past the full 60 minutes of hockey. It's great that we're getting these extra points. And for a while, it was this exciting reality that the Avs hadn't lost in regulation. The Avs can't be beat in regulation. They can push these games to overtime. They can get the extra point. But I have to say, that narrative for me personally is starting to get old. I think it's unfortunate that the Avs can't close out games. And that honestly poses some concern looking down the road for, later in the season and even when we get to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I think that once again from RF Dean here, this quote really encapsulates what's been going on over the past few days and these past few games. Our best forwards, our top line guys, are too irresponsible in 3-on-3 overtime hockey. You go all the way back to the Utah Mammoth game. You saw MacKinnon with a terrible giveaway in the neutral zone, which led to a beautiful breakaway 2-on-1 odd man rush for the Mammoth, where they scored and got the win. And then the same thing in the overtime against the New Jersey Devils. I mean, it's irresponsible, not very smart hockey, and it's what's costing us these games in the long run. And that's what's very unfortunate for the Avs and kind of where they're at right now. So before we kind of preview the past schedule here and what's been going on, just want to really quickly ask you guys a little bit of a question. Haven't done this yet on the channel, trying it out, trying something new. We're going to see how it goes. For everything that's been going on throughout the season right now, I want you guys to drop your thoughts in the comments. C for confident, S for stressed. How do you guys feel about this team based on some of the stuff we've seen over the last week and based on this last game? And I'm not talking just about the Devils game. I'm talking bigger picture. Are we still confident in this Avs team, or do we think that there's some stress to be said about what's been going on over the last few weeks? And do we think that we're going to see a little bit more of a significant drop off? So go to the comment section right now. It takes 2 seconds. Drop a C for confident, S for stress. Let me know how you're feeling about the Avs and how you're feeling about the team. Very curious to hear your thoughts and what you guys are thinking about this team and kind of what's going on through, however many games we played. I think we're through 10 games, which is crazy that the NHL season's been going on for that long already. And then let's just talk about a few other issues as we get ready to look at tonight's game. The power play, still atrocious. It's abysmal that we've had 39 power play attempts. It's cut off in this angle right here. Let's see if I can get a better view right here. Yes, there we go. Power play percentage is 10%. We've had 39 power play opportunities and we can only convert 10% of those. This should be where we're thriving. When we get penalties, when we get opportunities to get the man advantage and to play man up hockey, that's when these top line guys, that's when our power play unit should really be going to work. And that's another really concerning thing for the Avs. And I think if the power play doesn't get cleaned up, it's going to be hard to come away with wins against powerhouse teams like the Devils and some of the other teams that we've lost to over the past few weeks. So taking a look at what's happened over the last few days, we obviously got that win over Boston at home. That was a great one. But then the 4-3 overtime loss against the Utah Mammoth, that was the same sort of narrative where we're down in the third period. Our top line guys pull us out of the rut and they get us tied. They get us that point. But then irresponsible 3-on-3 hockey ends up giving us the loss. And then once again, exact same narrative. At home against, once again, one of the best teams in the league right now in the Carolina Hurricanes. We're down 4-1 to start the game. Scott Wedgwood lets in 4 goals on 9 shots in the first period. We crawl ourselves back. We tie the game. We get to overtime, but we can't get it done in the 3-on-3 hockey, and we can't get it done in the shootout. And then a tough loss against Boston, and once again, an overtime loss against New Jersey. This overtime narrative is stressful, and it's concerning looking forward as far as being able to close out games. And I think that's the biggest concern with where the Avs are at right now. And so another interesting angle to take here. On the one hand, Colorado's 5-1-4. That's pretty solid for 14 out of a possible 20 points. You know, if obviously they went 10-0, they'd have 20 points. They got 14 out of those 20. That's pretty solid for the first 10 games. But on the other hand, they've only won half of their games. Their top superstars are irresponsible and not getting things done in overtime, and they're riding a 4-game slide. They're 0-1-3 in their last 4 games into a rematch against the NHL leading New Jersey Devils, who are on an 8-game tear. So with that, let's talk a little bit about tonight's game. My keys to the game are letting the top lines go to work. I want to see a MacKinnon goal. I want to see a Necas goal. I really want to see those top lines explode, and I want to see it happen early. I think a key aspect of this game is going to be scoring first. I think it's always huge for whatever team to get that first goal of the game. It sets a really good tone. It sets a really good environment, especially at home in front of a home crowd against a team that's on an 8-game winning streak. Getting that first goal, it's going to rattle the Devils a little bit, and it's going to really help the Avs try to come away with this game. Another key is pick up the pace on the power play. I know that it's been an issue. I know we've had games where we're going 1 for 8, 2 for 8 on the power play. You've got to get 2 or 3 power play goals tonight. Devils are kind of a frisky team. They're tough to play against. They hit heavy. They're going to get penalties called on them. Take advantage of that and score power play goals. And then last but not least, I believe it's going to be Wedgwood back in between the pipes tonight. He had the day off against the Devils the other day. Hats off to Trent Biner. He played a great game against New Jersey. Obviously let in 3 goals. But for a guy who is brand new to playing in the NHL, you have to give it to him. You have to be impressed with the fact that he's doing really well in these games. But we've got Wedgwood back. Hopefully he's rested, recouped, and ready to go. I only want to see him let in 1 or 2 goals tonight. And that's going to be tough against a team like the Devils that has elite scorers like Jack Hughes and other top-line players that they have. But like I said, you got to have the goaltending dialed in. And I think that if the Avs can work out those types of kinks, they're going to be able to come away with this game and knock this crazy win streak that the Devils have going on right now. So want you guys to pop it in the comments one more time. Want to hear what you're thinking, how you're feeling for tonight's game. Drop a W in the comments for a win. Drop an L in the comments for a loss. How do you guys think the Avs are going to perform tonight? How do you think they're going to do? A W for a win, an L for a loss. Go to the comments right now. Let me know what you think the Avs are going to do tonight at home against the NHL leading New Jersey Devils tonight at Ball Arena. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Avalanche Digest. Mark Robinson here with you as usual. We appreciate your support so much. Once again, help us get to that 1,400, 1,500 subscriber goal. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the Avs, and we will talk to you guys soon. Cheers, everybody. Make it a great day.